Yes, we're back with a special one today. A lot of you have been asking for this, and honestly, I get it. We love the level of detail in my past breakdowns, and today, it only gets better. So, as the thumbnail says, this is going to be the ultimate guide to 36 starring the current Spiral Abyss. And yes, even if you're completely free to play. I've spent countless hours researching, testing, and even uncovering some secret changes that Genshin slipped in recently that we can use to our advantage. So I'll be real with you. If you still can't 36 star after this guide, then your account probably just needs a little more investment. So in this video, we'll go through the perfect character setups, how to handle every scenario you'll face in the Abyss, and of course, the weapons, artifacts, and substats you should be aiming for to squeeze out maximum damage. That way you can walk away with those sweet Primo gems without making weird noises alone in your room. With that said, if you want to shoot your way to premium savings on the Chaska and Mulani banner, then you've got to check out my partner LD Shop. Right now, they're slashing banner expenses with a massive 35% off all your top-ups. And here's the thing, they're not just killing your expenses, they're also killing all your worries. I started using them not only because of their savings, but because they're so convenient and worry-free. Like, come on, I'm saving over 30 bucks on my pulls, and all they asked for was my UID and server. Won't you ask for my password?
Don't need that, my man.
And those are just the elemental skill. For their burst, if you spend over $80 in a month, you'll be granted a Welkin or its equivalent all free of charge. So yeah, what are you waiting for? Chaska and Mualani won't be around forever. So use my link in the description or pinned comment to lock in those juicy discounts. Now with the savings busted, let's lock in on the mission at hand. And more importantly, the secret change that'll give us a huge edge in this Abyss. That leads us to the Abyss Blessing. The first floor Abyss Blessing simply implies that electro-charged and lunar charge damage are increased by 75%, which, let's be real, it's to support an Effa. But to be honest, not everyone's pulling for her. Nobody wants that metallic butt, unless, you know, that's your thing. Anyways, the good news is, the Blessing also buffs the regular electro-charge reaction. And thanks to the sneaky change in 5.2 that boosted electro-charge multipliers from 1.2x to 2x, this reaction is more viable than ever. Now, to keep things simple, we'll wrap up the first floor before we head into the second. The real deal is that the first chamber is where you've got to save the most time. That's where you know whether or not you're getting those stars. So yes, that leads us to the plan, but first we gotta state the issues. You see, one issue with electrocharged is that it causes damage to the character currently dealing the damage, and also we need a character who can apply electro very quickly and consistently. 2 characters stand out for F2P, while 3 other characters stand out for the whales, or just those who are lucky to have that character. For the F2P side, the best electro applicators here are Kuki Shinobu and Oraran. Both bring their own pros and cons. Oraran shines with fast electro application through his burst, but the catch is that you can't rely on it forever. There will always be a bit of downtime once his burst ends. Kuki, on the other hand, is the definition of consistency. Her skill recharges before its duration even ends, meaning she can keep electro running non-stop. On top of that, she brings incredible healing, which, let's be real, is going to be clutch for this kind of setup. Or honestly, for the Abyss in general, because you really don't want anyone dying mid-run. Now, if you're rolling in Primo Gems, or cash, then the Electro Mommies are your go-to, Chlorinde and Raiden Shogun. And of course, Ineffa deserves a mention here too, in case you were lucky enough to have her, of course. Oh, and let's not forget Varesa, because she adds some serious value to the mix. The 3 of them bring massive massive personal damage, plus some really solid electro-charge potential. And honestly, their burst animations never get old. Every time you see them go off, it's like hitting the replay button on pure satisfaction. That said, we gotta be real here. None of these 3 heal. But don't worry too much because the floor selectable blessings can patch up that weakness. For Electro specifically, I'd rank them like this: Chlorinde at number 1, Kuki at number 2, and Varesa at number 3. Sadly, Raiden doesn't quite cut it this time. It's nothing personal. Her burst is still cinematic royalty, but in terms of raw kit value, the others just edge her out.
What do you mean by that?
In terms of damage, of course. So now that we've locked in the Electro slot, let's talk Hydro. For this setup, we need a consistent applicator. And for free-to-play, there's really just one answer: Xinkyu. If you're seriously lacking in 4 stars, you could run Candace or Barbara as substitutes, but you'll lose some sanity running those 2. They are just bad in this use case. On the premium side though, the best in-slot Hydro applicators are Furina and Yelan. Between the 2, Furina actually takes the crown thanks to her insane versatility. You'll see exactly why in a second. Because what's left now is picking our secondary DPS, and it can only be Hydro or Electro, since we don't want some random element jumping in and ruining our reactions. This is where Neuvillette absolutely steals the show. He brings unmatched damage while still perfectly supporting electro-charged. And if you happen to also have Furina, then that's just perfection in a bottle. Their synergy is so obvious it barely needs explaining. It's a duo that just works. On the other hand, if Neuvillette isn't in your roster, you can still lean on Raiden or go the Yellen plus Furina route. Sure, Furina won't get her kit fully optimized in that specific setup, but trust me, it's still way stronger than forcing in any other random 5-star. Now for the final slot, this is where we bring in the glue of the team. Someone who ties everything together, because let's be real, those massive gyat from Chlorinde and Varesa aren't gonna buff themselves. Personally, I always run Kazuha across all my accounts. He's just too good. Grouping, buffing, swirling, you name it, he does it all. But if you want more free-to-play friendly options, you've got 2 great picks, Sucrose or Lanyon. Each comes with their own flavor. Lanyon gives you solid shielding for Neuvy. Very needed if you're not rocking his C1. Meanwhile, Sucrose is amazing for grouping and adds some extra team-wide buffs. At the end of the day, it really comes down to preference. So, the best free-to-play team entails Neuvillette, Furina, Kuki, and Kazuha, while budget free-to-play team entails Neuvillette, Shinkyu, Kuki, and Lanyon, which will be very weak in my opinion. Now for Electro Charged, the damage scales mainly on elemental mastery and the base attack of the character. That's why taking a character from level 80 to 90 actually makes a noticeable difference. On top of that, Electro damage bonus also contributes, although I'll be honest, I haven't had enough time to fully test just how big the difference is, but from what I've seen so far, it makes a good enough increase. Now, when it comes to artifacts for your Electro units, or more specifically the unit triggering Electro Charged, there are 3 main sets to consider. The best in slot is easily Thundering Fury. Not only does it boost Electro damage, but it also straight up gives you a 40% increase to Electro Charge damage. That's insane value that you really can't go wrong with. On the flip side, you've got Gilded Dreams and Flower of Paradise Lost. Both of these grant a hefty amount of elemental mastery, which is solid, but they don't push the reaction damage nearly as high as Thundering Fury does. Now on the substats, you need to stack as much EM as possible. 900 is the sweet spot, 1000 is very nice, but I've seen 800 as the easily attainable one. Lastly, this is where I share a tip. The skills and burst level of the Electro applicators doesn't increase Electro Charge damage. Yes, it really doesn't. So in some way, no one's forcing you to upgrade every aspect of the character, but make sure to get them to level 90 as they get a significant increase in base damage, which will help your Electro Charge damage a lot. Oh, and to those who need it, the free-to-play sword for Elemental Mastery is the Iron Sting. The Sacrificial Fragments, if you're going for a Catalyst user, and lastly, for bow, you can use the Stringless at R5, it also has nice substats. Now that covers the applicator. For Furina and Neuvy, just leave them as they are. But for the last slot, this is where we have Kazuha, or Lanyon, or even Sucrose. Same principle applies here. Except for Kazuha, you can give him the Iron Sting, or the Moonlight Siphon. So yeah, let's take this to a test, shall we? Here are the specs of the characters. Feel free to pause at any moment, and yeah, I know it's C2 Furina, but just reduce your expected damage increment by around 20%, as that's how much difference it generally makes. Going into the chamber, choose this blessing if you haven't maxed out your Furina and Neuvy health to 40,000, or choose this one if you have already. But to be honest, a little extra health won't hurt. So, as you can see, Kuki offers great healing while still providing off-field electro application. At the same time, Furina is also slaying with that amazing hydro application, with Kuki filling up her fanfare points gradually over time, which in turn helps Neuvillette. A perfectly balanced team. Swapping Neuvy for Raiden gives us even more electro charge damage per second, which is great, but you'll be missing out on great damage from Neuvy. Personally, just use Neuvy if you can easily dodge attacks or have his C1. Now with all that covered, let's talk about the second floor. This one will be quick, as it's something we're used to. It states that Night Soul aligned attacks will deal an additional 75% damage. This is something that I believe anyone who's pulled a Natlan character will find easy. The basic principle of this is to force you to use a Natlan character, and if you use characters like Skirk or even Navia, then you're really shooting yourself in the foot. Personally, what I run is the Mavuika Premium team, with Scroll of Cinder City on Silonen and Tenacity of the Millileth on Sitlali. Why not the same set? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, we can't have 2 characters using the Cinder City in the same team. You simply won't get both buffs. Another team you can use is the Kinich Burn team, where we have Kinich, obviously, Zhangling, Yansan, and the last slot being for any other buffers you want. The best for that slot is Emily, but feel free to change it to Yao Yao or Nahida. It really is your choice. So with that covered, let's look at the current most used team in the Abyss. On top of the chart, we have the Mavuika Premium team, with a 60% usage rate for the second floor of the Abyss. Now second is the Electro Charge team, But with Inefa replacing Kuki Shinobu, this team has a 40% usage rate. Now, third on that list we have Electrocharge team, but with Auroran, I've tested this team, and it's great, but the one major issue with it is with health. You really start losing health quickly, especially when you take into account the fact that Furina literally drains your health. So as I said earlier, would be to your own good if you swapped Auroran with Kuki. And yeah, feel free to pause and check the rest of the teams. You never know which one might work best for you. So with that said, that's the wrap for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. Feel free to drop a thumbs up if you do. If you want to get constant updates like these and good brainstorming video, then feel free to subscribe. And also feel free to drop your current team or ideas in the comments for me and others in the community to analyze. Trust me, we've got many geniuses in the comments. As usual, I love you all, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.